Well, hi, everybody. It's Jeff Hopper back with Judge Tim Philpot. And we started by talking about some of the ways that the Lord has led Tim in his life and led him at this point to be a family court judge in Lexington, Kentucky. And I know that one of the things, though, that has continued through several of these times of your life, you said these iterations of where God has taken you, is this attention to small groups and other men and meeting together around the Word of God. And you even have a favorite verse to go with all that. So I want you to talk about that for a little bit.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, the thing that saved my life is the way I describe it was when I was about 32 years old. I got involved in a small group of men. At the time it was called an accountability group, which is kind of old hat now, but at the time I had never heard that terminology. And even though I had been a Christian since I was a freshman in college, the truth is I felt like I was about to die. And I cried out and said, Lord, there's got to be more to it than this. So I got a phone call, got invited by a guy to be in a group, and that small group of 3 or 4 men led to me what I call being addicted to small groups. I now meet with 4 or 5 different groups every week.
Yeah.
And I say that not because to my credit, but to my detriment.
Okay.
I need it.
Okay.
So even when I order people in court sometimes to go do something, I say, look, man, I'm not asking you to do anything I don't have to do.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
yeah.
So I just need it. So my most recent group, though, that I'm really in love with, I call it my Tootie Tutu group.
Okay.
And Tootie Tutu comes out of 2 Timothy 2:2. Two.
Awesome.
And if you say it real fast, it's Tootie Tutu.
Okay.
And that comes out of me sending an email about 4 years ago to some young men who all appeared to have their act together. Because that's kind of where I was. Between the time I was 19 and say I was 31, nobody asked me, nobody tried to help me. When I say nobody, I'm not kidding. Nobody offered to disciple me.
Wow.
Nobody offered to really help me.
Sure.
Because I looked pretty good.
Yeah.
I'd gone to law school. I was the city golf champion. I had a beautiful wife. I was driving a Mercedes that nobody knew was old and cheap, but I looked
it
good.
was a Mercedes,
yeah, and I was
yeah.
teaching Sunday school.
Yeah.
So why would you spend time helping me? Let's go find some people that need help.
Sure,
right?
sure.
So little did they know I was about to die, though. So my email that I sent out to about 10 or 15 young people, all in their 20s, was, you look like you've got your act together. You look like I did when I was in my 20s.
Wow.
But I was about to die. And I said, if you're in that category, I'm trying to start a group. I'm willing to start a group
Yeah.
of guys that look like they got their act
Wow.
together, but they need help.
Yeah.
Are you interested? The emails just came back so fast. It was crazy.
That's amazing.
And so I started a little group of guys that looked like they had their act together.
Yeah.
And we've been meeting now for 3 or 4 years. It's absolutely fantastic. We meet every week. We don't have much agenda. I try real hard not to be the teacher. Usually we just get together and say, what's the Lord been doing in your life this week? And so in a sense, I'm just kind of one of the guys, except that I'm old enough to be everybody's father or grandfather. And so the group has changed quite a bit, but like I say, there's just not many people in their 20s, not many men in their 20s and 30s that have the benefit of somebody about 30 years older than them. And then, of course, on the flip side of that, I'm 65 now.
Yeah.
And my primary mentor in life, I'm in a group every Monday night. One of my groups is every Monday night. I'm in a group where the group consists of a guy that's 94, Robert Coleman, who wrote the Master Plan of Evangelism, is 87 years old.
Yeah,
He's in the group. A couple of guys are only in their 70s.
So you have this CrossGenerational. I want to talk to you about that in another session, but I want to ask you something about this one, because we do so much with small groups at Links Players.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times people think, well, I have to have all this material and I have to have all this planning.
No.
And you said you have a question, and we don't get real denominational at Links Players, but I know some of your background and how some of those small group meetings were often based around a singular question that drilled right at people.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, John Wesley, I got a Methodist background. I'm not a Methodist anymore, but the background is there. John Wesley had these class meetings where small groups would get together and just ask people how you doing?
How you
Basically.
doing? Yeah, yeah.
How you doing? Have you learned anything this week that might benefit me?
Yeah.
And so we learn from each other, and that makes it easy to do a lot of different groups, because I don't plan hardly at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't plan at all, I can promise you. I get out of bed and read my Bible just about every morning. I'm doing some things for me, and then I share out of my life what's going on, and they do the same.
Sure.
And the next thing you know, you've got some real intimacy there among young men that really need that.
Yeah. And you helped me key back to the first video, because the ability to do that is, I can invite people and I can ask a question, but if I have had my time with the Lord,
Yeah.
then I have something to bring to that meeting
Yeah.
when it really counts, because
Yeah.
it does really count at
You don't want to
times.
be empty when
That's
you show
right.
up.
Yeah.
If you're full, I mean, ideally, you're so full. This is what normally happens for me anyway. Most weeks, I've learned something from my own time with the Lord, and I'm just can't wait to share it with somebody.
Yeah, that's great.
Or I've learned something on Monday night with the old guys that I can't wait to share Tuesday morning with the young guys.
Oh, that's perfect.
Because that's how it works.
Yeah.
I got Monday night and Tuesday morning going.
Great.
So I'm stealing stuff Monday night, sharing it with these young
That's
guys
perfect.
Tuesday morning.
That's perfect.
It's perfect, yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Tim.
Yeah, thank
and
you.
let's do more soon, because we want you to hear a lot more from what Judge Philpot has to say.